What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the warm-up show this Wednesday, March 12th edition as the Grizzlies get set to continue this four-game homestand tonight. The Utah Jazz, fresh off of that $100,000 Jon Roser type money fine, comes in to play the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have won 3 straight games, looking to go 4 in a row, coming off of a 4-game losing streak, and they found some rhythm over these last couple of games here. I'm joined by Michael Wallace, Grind City Media, joined by Jon Roser of the Chris Vernon Show, Odds Couple, and everything else that Roser does with Grind City Media. I'm excited about this game. Also, Roser, before we start, I want to welcome in our statewide edition of the show. Our viewers, our fans, our Grizz Nation in Nashville and Knoxville as you join in for this hour-long pregame show leading up to the FanDuel Sports Show as well to get you ready for tip-off tonight. Johnny, when you look at what the Grizzlies are looking at right now, they're looking at a 15-50 Utah Jazz team. First team in the league. They're riding a 6-game losing streak. They lost 7 of 9. First team in the league to get to 50 losses. We talked about the league about 2 hours ago finding the Utah Jazz $100,000 because of the way that they're filing their injury reports, etc., surrounding Lauri Markkanen, and he was questionable coming into tonight's game. We'll get to the injury report in a minute, but the Grizzlies are 41-24, looking to continue some recent turnaround. What have you seen from the Grizzlies?
Well, from the Grizzlies, I think the big thing has been Ja Morant, Desmond Bane. I think it's the best players taking the most shots in the fourth quarter. Ja has led the team, not just in scoring in each of the last 3 fourth quarters, but he's led them in shot attempts too. So that's one of the biggest things right there. You want your best players when it comes crunch time, taking the shots, taking the reins, and I think that's contributed to it. I think the Grizzlies, they also, you know, every team goes through these funks and you go through losing streaks in the season. The only teams that seemingly don't have been the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers, but there was even a point earlier in the season that people were questioning the Boston Celtics. So, and they're the world champions. So, look, every team goes through it, but we know the character of this team, and they will respond, and they have responded. I think it starts at the top with Ja Morant.
We got a great warm-up show coming for you in this edition right here, again, as we welcome in our statewide audience, getting a chance to watch these Grizzlies on free over-the-air television. We're excited about this partnership with our NBC affiliates across the state. They're going to be, this is the first of 5 games that are going to be broadcast as sort of a double broadcast for both the FanDuel Sports Network as well as our affiliates across Nashville, Knoxville, and Memphis. So welcome in. We're also going to talk to Matt Infield later on from NBC, our NBC affiliate here, WMC. It'll be a familiar face for you guys. We're going to go around the league. We have a new 191 collab that's got some fresh gear that's going to be on sale for the Grizzlies at the Grizzlies game on Friday, and so much more. But diving a little bit deeper in what we have here, Roser, the Grizzlies are coming off of a 120-118 win over the Phoenix Suns on Monday to open this 4-game homestand that continues Friday against the Cavaliers and wraps up Saturday against the Miami Heat. The Grizzlies have won 3 in a row. We talked about it coming off of that 4-game losing streak. And Taylor Jenkins has talked about how the evolution of this offense has basically changed or altered, has been altered from the beginning of the season, from what he's installed in training camp, to what you're seeing right now from the Memphis Grizzlies. Here's Taylor Jenkins pregame talking about the evolution of the offense.
I think we definitely set out from our initial plan and implement everything that we sought out, but then we definitely just kind of want to live in this new offense, you know, get a feel for what, you know, our players were, you know, excelling in, you know, maybe they were struggling in, what other opponents were showing to us, you know, where we could capitalize on advantage creation in different areas. That's what we've talked about, adding some more pick and rolls into our offense, so we're trying to find that right balance. But I think this first year has been still a discovery for us. You know, we're nowhere near where we want to be. We talk about the pace, we talk about principles and advantage creation, we talk about the possession. It's just like a moment ago, all 3 of those areas are still evolving, you know, as we've kind of, you know, still try to find chemistry with our roster. I won't talk about the defensive side, but purely for the offensive side, love what we set out to do, and we kind of lived in that for the first couple of months and then made adjustments as necessary, but obviously trying to make it as simple for our guys because we want to also remain unpredictable and not have too many rules out there for our guys. They can go out and play free-flowing basketball.
You got to evolve, and as Taylor Jenkins talked about, you don't want to have too many rules where these guys are overthinking it, and we'll get into that because Roser has some excellent points based on some research he's done in terms of Ja Morant's resurgence within this evolving offense. But Utah Jazz coach Will Hardy is also dealing with the team right now that's having its stretch of adversity. They're coming off of a 114-108 loss on Monday to the Boston Celtics. The Jazz have lost 6 in a row, 8 of their last 9, and as I said, the first team in the NBA to hit 50 losses. The Grizzlies are 2-0 against the Jazz this season, winning that game early at the beginning of the season on the road in Utah, and then beating the Jazz right here on January 25th. And one of the challenges that the Jazz will face will be figuring out how to slow down Jon Morant. Now, the last time the Jazz came here, Roser, they had their hands full with Jaren Jackson Jr. He's not going to play tonight, but Jon Morant is playing some of the best basketball that he's played. And here's Will Hardy on the challenge of slowing down Jon Morant.
A bunch of threats on the court. Obviously, when the game is being played through Jaren, usually it's happening a little bit lower on the floor. Obviously, he has the threat of his shooting, but I felt like the last time we played them, he really punished us on the block. Ja is somebody who's, first of all, transition. If we don't show him the appropriate respect, we won't play many half-court possessions. And then in the half-court, he does such a good job of playing in space and playing downhill. He generates a lot of force on the paint, driving the ball from the perimeter. So with him, it becomes a question of pickup points. Our secondary defender is not leaving people on an island with him. But I think they both can create similar problems, but they just do it from different areas on the floor. We're not even talking about Desmond Bane. It was a whole different issue. But their team still plays with a concept of the ball moves. They're generating really high-level looks. And so, sure, while you do a scout versus the Grizzlies, you do talk about Jaren Jackson individually. You talk about Jon Morant individually. You talk about Desmond Bane. It's still about the team concept. And they do a really good job with their spacing and making quick decisions. So while I am concerned about Ja tonight, it's more about the types of shots that their offense generates in general. But he's definitely a focal point of that.
He's definitely the focal point. Jon Morant is the focal point. The Grizzlies have won 3 out of their last 4, 3 in a row, because Jon Morant has on a bit of a resurgence. He's averaging 29 points in the last 4 games and 8 assists during that stretch as well. We've seen a little uptick from Ja. And Roser, what have you seen in terms of what's gone into Ja sort of turning his game around?
Well, I think a lot of it is clearly he said he got some help with the shoulder, and then I think it is the amount of pick and rolls. Ja has always been a pick and roll player. Every year he's been in the league, you're talking over 30 pick and rolls per game that they're running with Ja, that high pick and roll, or whether it's off to the side. But they're running pick and roll with Ja because it frees him up to get downhill. There's not been nearly as many pick and rolls being run this year, not just with Ja, but with anybody on the team. It's been more beat your guy one-on-one, find some open space, create there. But as of late, those pick and roll numbers are starting to tick up. It was at one point, I think, below 15 per game, and now they're up. I saw this thing, Kevin O'Connor from Yahoo Sports and Steve Jones, I think, now it's ticking up and it's at about 18. So that number, as the minutes go up for these guys, the pick and rolls are starting to tick up, and Ja's back to that comfortable level. The last 3 games, the fourth quarter, 11 of 15 from the field, 73% from the floor for Ja.
I mean, that tells you exactly where Jon Morant is. And before we take a break real quick, I want you to hear from Jon Morant about what's been going on with him over these last few games as he's brought more production to the table. Here's Jon Morant.
Definitely terrible, but to be able to be out there now, I mean, it's a blessing. I'm grateful for every little thing, no matter what goes on, bad or negative, in my life. I just gotta appreciate the little things. And right now, I'm able to be out there and play basketball, which I had the experience of not being able to. So it's pretty much just that, just being grateful and continue to just want to work hard. I know I won't be perfect, but I want to be as close to perfect as possible, when I'm out there playing. And if I feel like I'm not, which I know I won't ever be perfect, there's always room for improvement.
We definitely don't need perfect Ja. We need productive Ja, and we need a purposeful Ja Morant. And he vows to be that tonight as the Grizzlies host the Utah Jazz. When we come back on the warm-up show, we're going to have Matt Infield, our WMC NBC affiliate sports director, sports host. He'll be joining us on the warm-up, and we'll get you set for the action for tonight as the Grizzlies face the Utah Jazz on the other side of this break.
You've coached a lot of different versions of the SEC, and obviously there's never been one deeper than this. What's it like been coaching in this?
The reason for the league being so good is the commitment. Commitment to coaching, commitment to facilities, commitment to the NIL across the board. There is not anybody in our league that's not investing in all those things.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
We had big classic news from the Southern Heritage Classic last week when it was announced Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State will be the two Classic participants.
Being a part of the Classic is a big deal. It's the third year for UAPB and the first year for Alcorn. So I'm just glad we were able to get it done.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify. Would you mind standing in front so everybody could get a good glimpse of this? This can't be the look of the season. This is not the look of the season, Jessica. Like.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Hey, make sure you tune in to the Jessica Benson Show and all of our shows on Grind City Media. You never know what you're going to get. It's always entertaining. So lock in the Grind City Media and all of our shows. We got 3 daily shows, starting with the Jessica Benson Show at 8 a.m. every day. Welcome back to the warm-up. I'm Michael Wallace. And now in this seat right here is WMC, NBC's news and sports anchor, Matt Infield. Matt, this is a great partnership. We're broadcasting across the state in all of our major markets here, Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville. You've covered this team every single step of the way for the NBC affiliate here in Memphis. Just first, speak to sort of what this partnership means as we're getting a chance to show these games. 5 of these games, this is the first of 5 games you'll be able to see in this partnership with the Grizzlies, obviously the affiliates and FanDuel Sports Network.
Yeah, well, let's be honest. Obviously the RSN talent and the guys on FanDuel Sports Network are fantastic. But if you're the average fan at home, sometimes it's a changing market, and it's really tough to keep up with everything that's going on. So just the simplicity. Hey, if you're in the Memphis Mid-South market, you turn on Channel 5, you just got to have an antenna, get it over the air. It's as easy as that. And really, I mean, when you talk about this team and how young and exciting it is and the things they want to accomplish, man, we want as many eyeballs on this team as possible because that's how you grow the brand. So really, I just think making them as accessible as possible, it's a no-lose situation. The team wins, the fans win, everyone wins, really.
And we already know that Ja Morant is one of the most trafficked players in the league in terms of social interactions and engagements. We know the Grizzlies are one of those teams that you have to have on League Pass when you're watching them. But we don't want everybody to have to sign up for League Pass. There are other ways to watch these Grizzlies. And for these 5 games, the first of 5, you're going to get a chance to watch them over the air for free and then come in and join us. There's always room here at the table for Grizz Nation out there. Matt, when you and I, we're on Grizz Beat a lot, one of our Grind City Media shows. Check out Grizz Beat every Tuesday at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media Networks. But when you look at what this team has been able to do over the last 3 to 4 games, 4-game losing streak this time a week ago.
Yep.
They've won 3 straight games and have a chance to knock off Utah tonight if things go the way they're supposed to go. What have you seen from the Grizzlies over these last 7 to 10 days?
Really, the thing that I'm looking for, and it goes to what I've seen, is they played great in the second half.
Yeah.
But they need to bring that energy from the start, because what we've seen in the last 3 games, Mavericks, who are just having just the worst stretch of any team I could ever remember. Yeah. The Pelicans, and then the Suns the other night. Now, obviously, Durant and Booker changed things, but 3 teams that the Grizzlies are unequivocally better than, but they've gotten off these slow starts and let teams hang around and get confidence. And we were talking to Jon Roser in the locker room postgame the other night, and he's like, man, if we could bring the energy we have in the second half from the jump, we'll be in great shape. So come out. Listen, the Jazz are not very good. I think we could be honest and say they're probably more interested in Cooper Flag than they are winning games this year. Man, come out and step on their throat right away and get out to a double-digit lead in the first quarter and never give them any hope that they have a chance to win this game, you know?
Yeah, no question about that. And one of the things that the Grizzlies will get back is a couple of more bodies. Yep. They were without 6 rotation players on Monday night's game against the Suns. What they will have is this guy right over here, just off camera, Luke Kennard, will be back in action tonight. But the Grizzlies will be without Santi Aldama with calf soreness. They will be without Jaren Jackson Jr. again with the ankle sprain in terms of the guys that are out. Taylor Jenkins told us during the pregame session that he does expect Zach Edey to be back as well, too. So Santi and Zach, I take that back. Santi and Zach could be, Brandon and Zach. BC and Zach are expected to be back, and we'll see where it goes from there. As far as the Jazz, Jordan Clarkson is questionable with plantar fascia. Keontae George is doubtful with a foot contusion. And Lauri Markkanen, the $100,000 man, based on that fine that the league just levied, is questionable. I got a suspicion he'll probably play tonight after being out since February 22nd.
Take a little bit of heat off the team,
Yeah. What do you see in terms of actually having this guy, Luke Kennard, come back? How can he help the offense and stretch the floor for the Grizzlies as they try to find rhythm from the three-point line?
They said it the other night post-game, Taylor Jenkins, Ja Morant, and I mean, it didn't take a trade eye to see. I mean, the Suns were just packing the paint against Ja Morant so much and trying to condense the floor, which obviously that's the first and foremost way most teams are going to try to defend Ja.
Yeah.
When you have that guy on the floor and when you have Desmond Bane on the floor at the same time, you can't do that because Ja is one of the best passers in the league. So you can condense the paint, but he's just going to kick and make you pay with his passing and playmaking all night long. So getting him back is huge. Shout out Jay Huff and Marvin Bagley filling in admirably the other night while Zach Edey and Brandon Clark were out, but it's obviously good to have those guys both back for different reasons.
And then just give us a little bit of background on you and how people can follow you as they continue to follow the Grizzlies over the course of the rest of the season.
For sure. So I anchor our sportscasts Saturdays and Sundays, 6 and 10 on Saturdays, 5 and 10 on Sundays. Social media at Matt_infield. I'm pretty active on there, as anyone that follows me knows. We've got a bunch of different stuff on the Action News 5 YouTube and Facebook platforms as well. And obviously now that we're partnered up, I think that we've got some cool stuff that could potentially be coming down the pipeline. So, man, I don't know about you, really excited about this partnership and what's to come. It feels like the start of great things ahead for both sides.
Absolutely, man. I want to thank Matt Infield for joining us right here. You can catch him on all of our content, especially Grizzbeat every Wednesday. And he'll be back. They got 4 more of these games broadcast free across the state. If you catch him, he's going to be with us every single step of the way for each one of those remaining 4 games. Matt, thanks a lot for joining us, man. When we come back on Grizzbeat, we're going to talk to the latest collaborator on the 191 Collabs collection, who will be debuting her stuff on Friday ahead of Friday's game. But for now, if you haven't seen the Tony Allen documentary, Tony Allen, the Grindfather, you need to check it out. Go to our Grizzlies YouTube channel. But here's a sneak peek right here.
Tony Allen, the Grandfather, Mr. First Team himself.
How would you describe Tony Allen?
To be honest, there's a very few people in the league that I know that are real dudes. It's not many. And I know one when I see one, and he's one of them.
I wanted it to be known that I'm the best defender in the league.
Allen takes the ball away from him.
Tony Allen is the toughest defender I've ever had to go against.
You gotta love how this guy works relentlessly to battle one of the elite scorers in the NBA.
He is a disruptor out there. We all know that when he would match up with you, you're in for a long night.
The true competitive nature, people like that, it comes from the environment that you grow up in.
Not a lot of people walked a mile in Tony's shoes.
Chicago is going to test you. I was a product of my environment, let's just say that.
All I hear is bullets flying past my head.
My life could have been taken from me at the age of 16.
There was no one better in terms of playing with toughness. He fit in real well.
The Boston Celtics select Tony Allen.
I just saw how hard he worked. I was like, damn.
And I'm a champion right now.
We blew it. He should have never been a Grizzly.
It's just our heart. Grit, grind.
Who he was who the Grizzlies were.
I think coming to Memphis, I kind of found a home. I'm going to go all the way out for what I'm riding with.
First team all defense.
And what I'm riding with is the Grizzlies.
Yes, indeed. And what we're riding with is the Grizzlies. That's a fantastic, fantastic documentary. Tony Allen, the Grindfather. Check it out on all of our Grizzlies platforms, our Grizzlies YouTube channel. Go to Grizzlies YouTube and check that out right there. Fantastic. 90 minutes is going to be pulsating, goosebumps, everything in that. And we're also retiring Tony Allen's jersey right here at FedEx Forum after the Miami Heat and the Grizzlies play on Saturday night. That's Saturday night, though. But what we got Friday night is another feature presentation coming on, and I bring to the chair right here on warm-up show, Breeze.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not even going to give her a government name because she told me not to give her a government name, but she's our latest in the line of fantastic, talented, young urban designers here. She has the 191 collaboration where all of her gear and the Grizzlies gear is going to be on display at Friday's game when the Grizzlies host the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you get a game to do this against the #1 team in the league. It's going to be fantastic, as you see on the screen right there. There's some of your gear and some of the designs that you have in store. Just first and foremost, give me a little bit of background about you and sort of what inspired your creativity as it relates to fashion design.
Well, I'm an artist in Memphis, born and raised. My name is Breeze.
Breeze.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for a minute. I create music and I make clothes. So those are the two main things that I do. I've been doing it for a little minute, like a long time, and I'm 25. Like I'm not that, up there yet.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it since high school. So the creative idea that I got for this collection is called Homemade, and that came from the Memphis culture as a whole. Because every time you come to our city, it's like a cultural shock. Like you get here, you like, whoa, it's different here, and it's cool because from dancing, food, artists, like the game, it's a different vibe here, and people try to duplicate that in other cities, and no, it's homemade here. So that's where that came from.
Absolutely. So what goes into the designs, though? What is that process like? You talk about being an artist, so I know you're a creative when it comes to music, but in design, artistry takes a different format and a different platform. How do you go about creating that vision and saying, okay, this is one of the pieces that you're going to be selling on Friday? What went into this specific design here?
Man, honestly, like the creative vision that I had, like creating this, it takes me a minute to think on certain things. Like I have to sit down, I have to write stuff out, I have to sketch it out. I also sketch and draw on my iPad as well. That's my best friend. Like that's my twin. Yeah. So with that, after that, I also like look at garments, colors, and I think about high quality. I love high quality garments. So I have to have that as well. And when I draw it out and sketch it out, I go through a couple sketches, but then once I find the one, I find the one.
You find the one, and it says what it says, right? It's not like you can. It speaks for itself.
Yeah.
When you get to that, you have let's get the graphic up with her designs on as well, because I want people to see what they're going to be able to walk into the building, and only in this building will you be able to make these purchases on Friday night. To get the spotlight on that kind of game, 20,000, 18,000, 20,000 people here in this building to see your work. What does that feel like? What is that going to feel like for you?
I feel like it's life-changing because now I get to be in front of so many people, and people get to see my designs. storylines, and I've been working on that for so long. And I try not to tear up. I'm not a crybaby, but it's just a huge opportunity. I really appreciate 191 collabs presented by Hennessy for doing this for me. So.
Hey, no question about it, Breeze. I mean, you've done a tremendous job. I've seen all of the 191 collabs over the course of the last 3 or 4 years that we've done this, and your work speaks for itself right there. So good luck with the sales. Continue to strive. Yeah, you're not that young. You're not that old. You're right in your sweet spot. And I hope this gear sells tremendously. It looks really, really good. It looks really refreshed, and you can wear it in all seasons.
Yes,
right? So that's what's up. That's what's up. So you got that Glorilla glow with you, and I know it's going to show in your gear
I
too.
hear that so many times.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks a lot for joining us. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. When we come back, we're going to get you ready for the last-minute updates and lineup changes as Jon Roser and I also go through the NBA and across the league with the top storylines as we get set for tip in about 40 minutes tip-off, but then we'll get you ready for the pregame shows as well too on the other side of the warm-up show break.
You've coached a lot of different versions of the SEC, and obviously there's never been one deeper than this. What's it like been coaching in this?
The reason for the league being so good is the commitment. Commitment to coaching, commitment to facilities, commitment to the NIL across the board. There is not anybody in our league that's not investing in all those things.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
We had big classic news from the Southern Heritage Classic last week when it was announced Arkansas Pine Bluff and Alcorn State will be the 2 classic participants.
Being a part of the classic is a big deal. It's the 3rd year for UAPB and the 1st year for Alcorn. So I'm just glad we were able to get it done.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify. Would you mind standing in front so everybody could get a good glimpse of this? This can't be the look of the season. This is not the look of the season, Jessica. Like.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back into the warm-up. We're getting warm right now. We're ready to get out here and get some action going as the Grizzlies face the Utah Jazz in Game 2 of a 4-game homestand right here. And welcome in across the board, across the state, this broadcast right here, welcoming in our fans who are watching over the air for free on the NBC affiliates in both Nashville, Knoxville, and Memphis, in addition to all of our digital platform channels. Jon Roser is back with me. Roser, we got about 2.5 minutes. I want to hit you on one league-wide storyline and then something about the Grizzlies as well, too. When you look at what Cleveland is doing, that's the next opponent after tonight's game. They come in here at FedEx Forum. Get your tickets 901-888-HOOP or Ticketmaster.com. The Cleveland Cavaliers is, the 6th team in NBA history to have 2 different 15-game winning streaks. So when you look at what they've been able to do, man, are they the team to beat, or are we giving too much credit to Oklahoma City on this side for what they've done?
I mean, look, I think probably I don't think either one of them are the team to beat in either of their conferences, actually, to me. I tend to think, the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics have the biggest X factor in all of the NBA, and Kristaps Porzingis, and whether or not he can stay healthy or he will be healthy. I do believe if he is healthy, I don't know if any team can beat the Celtics. In the West, LeBron's groin injury matters a ton, and that is something, especially for somebody that's 40 years old. Mike, we know about 40 years old. I'm 40 now. You're like 60. So
not quite. The countdown is on.
If you pull a groin, it can take a while. Now, LeBron's been superhuman his entire career, but I kind of like the Lakers to come out of the West right now.
So neither Oklahoma City or Cleveland in your eyes right here.
Yeah.
One last thing about the Grizzlies, too, before we we get out of here. The others, the play group. The play group guys. The play group guys are guys that came into this game and had an impact on Monday night. When you talk about Cam Spencer, Lamar Stevens, Marvin Bagley, Jay Huff, how important is it right now with Jaren Jackson and Santi still kind of working their way back? Is it going to be for the play group, the others, to step up tonight to help boost this team against the Jazz?
No, absolutely. I think we've seen that with Jay Huff. He spent one game with the Hustle. He's gotten back in the rotation, even started on Monday night against the Phoenix Suns. I think the thing with Huff, he does provide that extra spacing. You see teams respect him out to the three-point line. You see him respect him out to the three-point line. That opens up space for Ja. That opens up space for Desmond Bane. Cam Spencer, one of his things, the guy just is elite at shooting, and you saw that. Lamar Stevens, we know about his defense and his toughness. If he can give them an outside shot like he did on Monday, he's going to get some real minutes and may get that last roster spot.
Hey, he could do that. These guys are ready to produce. They've talked about stepping up in this moment. And now we're going to step aside and give you a chance to check out the pregame show, the FanDuel Sports Network pregame show. Check that out where Rob Fisher, Pete Pranica, Brevin Knight, and Chris Vernon starting now on the FanDuel Sports Network. Or you can catch the radio broadcast 92.9 where Eric Hasseltine, Jessica Benson, Elliot Perry, Bennett Doyle, and this guy, Jon Roser, will have you covered on the radio dial. That's been the warm-up for this game. Jazz, Grizzlies, next on Grind City Media and all of our networks.
On his way to 29 points, along with 12 assists, as the Grizzlies' winning ways came home. Tonight, the Grizzlies try to keep it going against a team that's dropped 6 straight and 13 straight away from home. We get you set for the Grizzlies and Utah Jazz from FedEx Forum. It's Grizzlies Live on FanDuel Sports Network, and it starts now! Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grizzlies Live, presented by your Mid-South Ford dealers on a beautiful night in downtown Memphis. The Memphis Grizzlies getting set to take on the Utah Jazz, and Grizzlies going for their 4th straight win. Desmond Bane's been a big part of it, coming off a 10.7 rebound, 3 assist performance against Phoenix on Monday night. In the last 6 games, Dez is averaging 23.5, 10 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. Against the Jazz this year, over 20 points a game for Desmond Bane. Folks are excited as the Grizzlies continue the homestand, and the Grizzlies hopefully continue the wins. We welcome you inside FedEx Forum and welcome all those watching on FanDuel Sports Network, also those watching here locally in Memphis on WMC Action News 5 and the other Gray TV stations across the state. So we welcome you all into Grizzlies Live, presented by your Mid-South Ford dealers. I'm Rob Fisher, Brevin Knight, Chris Vernon alongside here behind our Built Ford Tough desk. Before we get to tonight's game against the Utah Jazz, looking back at Phoenix on Monday night, rough start for the Grizzlies, but a big second quarter spark got them going.
Yeah, big second quarter spark, and obviously a game that they really needed to have, considering what's been going on in the standings recently. But in the absence of some of their big players, and when I say big, I mean their entire front line, they got contributions all over the board.
Cam Spencer, he was the guy to talk about after the game.
Well, he was the guy that brought the fire that we're accustomed to seeing from Memphis Grizzlies basketball, and is what we were waiting to see, where they get into a little back and forth with the opponent. There's an intensity on the floor, and he was the guy that brought that intensity. But not only just bringing the fire and intensity, there were stats to back it up, and they needed the shots that he was able to knock down. And these little interactions right here that continued to go on throughout the night, not only did it fire up Cam Spencer and fire up the rest of his team, but this crowd in FedEx Forum was rocking the entire night because of those type of interactions.
Little kids all over Memphis this week have been wearing baggy T-shirts under their jerseys.
Cam Spencer, 16 points. 11 of them came in